My Star Blossoms project is made with a method called English paper piecing. With English paper piecing, you use these paper templates and wrap fabric around them, basting them in place temporarily to hold the fabric on. And then you sew all of the pieces together, not sewing through the paper, and remove the papers when you're done. So I'm going to show you how to baste this jewel shape. First of all, I've threaded a needle with quite a long piece of thread, and I didn't put a knot at the end since basting is just meant to be temporary. Then I take my piece, and you could really start at any corner, but I like to start at the bottom, and I just fold it tightly over the edge of the paper, and then tightly over this edge, so that I've created a nice sharp point. With my needle, I'll enter through the right side of the work, from here, right up towards that area where I folded, and I'm not going to let all my thread, I'm going to let my thread hang out there, and then poke back through, returning to the right side of the work. Alright, and now I'm ready to move up to the next corner, so I'm going to fold it over, and again, take a stitch there, through to the right side of the work. And that's basting. You simply go around a piece, whether it's a hexagon or a diamond or a jewel shape, securing all corners. When you have a long pass like this long section of the jewel shape before the point, you can also take a stitch where there isn't a corner, just to keep things nice and tight and tidy around the paper. Okay, so my next spot here is the very point of the jewel shape. And as you can see on this side, I've got a lot of extra fabric because I use a rectangle. So what I do after I've secured this stitch right here is cut along here, leaving a very generous 1/4 inch seam. Whoop. Okay, so that I can create a less bulky point. Alright, and I sew through that point, back to the right side of my work, and that's how I work my way around. So I would continue taking a stitch there, taking a stitch at the corner, at this corner, and then you can finish by taking a second stitch where you started to make it sure your basting is very tightly secured. I usually skip that. As you can see right here, I've done a row of different shapes. I started here, 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 and across, and I just left some thread in between each one so that I don't have to stop and start each time. And when I'm ready to use these shapes, all I need to do is clip these threads, and I'm ready to go. This is going to be the center of my next star flower. So I would match the pieces with right sides together and take a needle that is threaded with a knot at the end and whip stitch right along this line to make my first seam. When you sew an English paper piece project to do your for real, for keep sewing, you don't sew through the paper. That way afterwards you can take it out. I think I have an example here. Well, let's just look at the back of this. See, I've got all my paper still in here. And if you look up close, you can see my stitch paths. And in some places, like right here, the paper's been removed. So there you go. When you're done, you remove all the papers, you remove all these basting stitches on top, like so.